It's Michelle, right?
Yes,
Scott, just for the camera. I know we met already off camera.
that's right.
What's your podcast about? Can I ask?
My podcast is called A Bipolar, Schizophrenic, and a Podcast because I work with Gabe Howard. He is the bipolar. I am Michelle, the schizophrenic, and together we have a podcast and we talk about mental illness in the rawest way possible from two people with mental illness.
Can we do that a little bit? Just
Yeah,
because I'm fascinated.
sure.
Can I ask how you got diagnosed or when schizophrenia became like a thing
Yeah.
in your life?
Well, the whole thing is that when I was younger, like all through high school, like I was really paranoid. I was really like suffering from like negative symptoms, which are the negative symptoms of schizophrenia is just like they're just called negative because it takes away from your personality, as opposed to positive symptoms, which add to your personality, like hearing voices, seeing hallucinations. But
Those are positive?
Those are well. It's not actually a good thing.
I know,
Yeah, I know, but it's
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird they name them like that. I know.
Yeah.
Positive, negative, cognitive, and cognitive means like it's about like understanding what people
Yeah.
are saying to you, like your cognitive ability. But I was suffering from negative symptoms, where it means like I was withdrawn and I wouldn't talk a lot, things like that. And I was definitely paranoid and thought broadcasting, but I didn't know what any of these terms were, so I didn't know I was suffering from something. I thought everyone had a voice in their head telling them how stupid they were, how dumb they were, how what an idiot
Yeah.
they were. I thought it was just me being like a girl, like just like probably I just thought everyone really did hate me.
Yeah.
But and then I also like my mom noticed my erratic behavior and she was like, you need a therapist. I'm going to try to get you help. We're going to try to get you help. And every time I just fought her time and time again because I thought I was paranoid against her. I thought she was trying to, hurt me, sabotage me, want me dead. This whole thing, I thought everything was just her.
How did that manifest like in your daily interactions with people?
I wouldn't speak that much.
Yeah.
I just was very quiet. I would never participate in class.
Yeah.
I hated English class and writing because I thought if I wrote a lot, then the teacher would understand me and then they might realize who I was. And then it was
Wow.
just a big paranoid thing.
Yeah.
So I go to college because I played lacrosse. So I wanted to play lacrosse in college and then I wanted to do graphic design, right? So I go to college. I think I'm free with my mother. Everything's going to be great. First few weeks, I'm having a great time. It's awesome. I love it. And then all of a sudden, my roommate, who's my best friend, I start having these thoughts, and I'm thinking that she's trying to hurt me, sabotage me, or want me dead. And I'm like, what? Like, how could I be having these same thoughts that I had about my mom, about my roommate?
So you can have those thoughts and still be take a step back and be like, this is weird.
Well, that's what I realized. I was like, oh my God, my mom was right the whole time because I knew this didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
My roommate was definitely not trying to hurt me in any way. Like this, I'm like, these are the same exact thoughts. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
And for years, like the fighting with my mom, claiming it was her, and then this happening again, I was like, something's not right. So
Wow.
I went to like the school therapist. He said like, in 15 minutes, you're bipolar, blah, blah, blah. Gave me a pamphlet. Then I talked to this psychiatrist. She gave me medicine, didn't like it. Things were up, things were down. I ended up in like my freshman year, I was in the psych ward twice. My sophomore year, I was in the psych ward once. And I was really only like, I was either diagnosed with depression or bipolar. I don't really know.
My best friend went to the psych ward when he was a little bit younger after a couple suicide attempts. What is that experience like when they have you there? Because he said he has a joke about it. We're comics, but he has a joke about how he goes, he goes, you know how I don't know, just about how they put him in a box with like no natural tones and like calming things and like let him stare out a courtyard at a tree. It was like the most like he painted it as like the least helpful thing they could have possibly done.
It is the least helpful thing. You are in a room there, like your bedroom. Usually have a roommate, and the bed's uncomfortable with uncomfortable sheets, and it is all beige. And then there's a window with bars on it.
Yeah.
And some places they'll let you go outside. Other places they won't let you go outside. One place there was a pool table, but we weren't always allowed to use it because we couldn't use the pool cues without somebody watching us. So it depends what nurses were on staff at what certain time.
If they wanted to deal with it.
Yeah, and then there was ping pong table. At one place, this old lady kept trying to play ping pong with me. We'd go bounce, 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 and then she'd say, okay, and she would just walk away. Right? Yeah. At the last one, like it was old women, men, and then me. I left there with like 5 guys' numbers,
Yeah.
and of course I threw them all out in the garbage. But it was just weird. It's
Yeah.
just weird. It's just
Well,
weird.
it doesn't
It's not
seem.
help.
Yeah, it doesn't seem helpful. It
You
seems
don't.
like they put you there to be like,
It,
we
it,
don't know what to do. Like,
it
we don't want to.
like you said you were in jail, right?
Yeah.
And I have a friend. He's been to jail and he's been to the psych ward, and he's like, jail's better.
Yeah. More freedom.
Right? It's mostly it's just like they treat you like you're so sick. You're like, I fucked up one night. It's like one night I made a huge fucking mistake. I'm fine now. Like, what are you guys doing for me?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what are you doing? Like,
that is the laziness of not
Right.
trying to understand individuals and what their real issues are and like
Right.
what is happening in their head.
like they're like, since you got here, you've only gotten, angrier and angrier. I'm like, because you're not doing anything, and I'm not doing anything all day. I don't understand how this is supposed to help me.
That must be maddening.
I'm bored. Like, I'm bored. They're
What's
like,
what's the feeling when someone tells you you have schizophrenia?
it's kind of like, okay, that sucks. Like, what am I doing the rest of my life? Am I ever going to get married? Am I ever going to have kids? Am I ever going to have a job? Like, what is my life?
Yeah.
So when I went out to dinner with my 3 best friends from college, I'm sitting there and I just go, guys, I found that I have schizophrenia. And they said to me in like the exact order, isn't that what you had the whole time? That could have not been more obvious. And yeah, we told you that.
What does that make you feel like?
I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, like really, we knew that. So that was very helpful because
Yeah.
if they already knew
And they accepted.
lived with
They didn't
me,
care. Yeah,
loved
they don't.
me. So why am I gonna care about any like
Oh,
negative
amazing.
reactions I have from people
Yeah.
that I'm not friends with, that I don't like, that don't
yeah.
So I was like, fine. If anyone doesn't like it, like they can go screw themselves.
I like this attitude.
because whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm still 22, but I want to have like my graphic web design job in the city. I worked for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I have 15 jobs. I got fired from like every single one of them. And it wasn't because of my abilities as a graphic and web designer. It was just like my nighttime pill makes it so hard to wake up in the morning. I'd come in late sometimes.
Yeah.
Bosses don't like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that either. Or it was just like cognitive skills of telling me things. I don't get it. Or it's like, are you on the phone right now? Who are you talking to? Things like that.
And do you tell people that you have schizophrenia, that you're diagnosed, and like
I-
maybe these will be an issue, or do you
I-
feel like this better not to bring it up at all?
Only one place did I tell HR, but that was just one place. But I really never brought it up. But it was just
Do you feel like it was unnecessary,
always-
or you thought it would hurt?
I thought it would hurt my chances at the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would hurt my chances at the job just because, like, this.
Of course.
It's New York City. Like, everyone's replaceable. Are they-
Schizophrenia is there's a lot of stigma attached to that word. Even I'm very interested.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it's just,
there's
like,
there's a lot of stigma, right? And the
Well,
stigma
nobody
is
knows
danger.
anybody-
'Cause
Yes.
it's danger.
Yeah.
But, like, it's
Insane. You think
people
someone like,
danger.
yeah.
Exactly, right? But it's like it's just not danger. That's not true. Like, anyone can be dangerous.
Yeah, yes. Everyone's
don't have-
everybody. People are so varied. There is no to attach like this thing means someone's this is an insane thing to do no matter what it
How many things
is.
do you hear on TV? They're like, we would have never expected this from them.
Yeah,
They were the
everything.
nicest people. I would have never seen this ever.
Yeah.
So what do you say about those people then?
Yeah.
They weren't schizophrenic. They were the nicest guy ever. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. Interesting. So you're not telling your jobs you're not telling them anything like that?
No, but it was just symptoms all the time. Just symptoms getting in the way of everything.
And you knew his symptoms.
I knew it was symptoms, but what was I gonna say? Like, I was making mistakes because of symptoms. So what was I supposed to do? Oh, well, it's the mistakes because of this. Well, okay, stop making mistakes then. Take care of yourself. What was I gonna change?
I imagine that feels kind of helpless.
Yeah. So, that's why I started my own business.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's wild.
Gaining insight into your illness is the hardest thing there is to do. And even after that happened, like going on like weird meds from my school, like I was like, no, F this. I don't want these meds. I'm going back the way it was. I was happier. I was better, but like things weren't good.
Yeah.
Things were crazy. Things were all over the place. But I wasn't put on the right meds because they said I was bipolar. And then like the school psychiatrist.
What kind of medication? They just give yourself to dull you?
they gave, like, for bipolar, if it's still the same as it was, bipolar people take a antidepressant and a mood stabilizer, because you take the mood stabilizer because you don't want the antidepressant to make you too happy to make you into a manic episode.
Yeah.
But that's not going to work for me because I'm not bipolar. So it just didn't work for me. Plus, every med works different for everybody else. So
Yeah.
you can't just prescribe someone one med and expect it to work. But
Yeah.
being so young, I didn't know that was the case.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm taking it. I must be feeling better, when I wasn't feeling better.
Yeah, and also a doctor is telling you that you should be taking this.
Right. Yeah.
Someone who's trusted.
And I didn't get a warning. And I guess they could be like, well, it says it, in the writing that comes with the package of pills.
That's
and I'm
like,
like, you expect like a person to just really read all that documents?
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody does
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
You don't seem like a negative individual.
Well, I mean, that was part of like how I just live my
Yeah.
life. Like I could be negative.
A lot of people are. Most people are
I
negative.
could be very negative.
Yes, you have a right to be.
Right? I mean, I think a lot of it was athletics, and then I was coaching lacrosse for a while, and it was like, even if you lose games, you got to stay positive.
Yeah, there's another game.
You know what I mean? Because also, like, it's like you play lacrosse, you run, you go to practice, you run some more, you lift weights, you do all this working out, you do everything. You get to those games. After you can't possibly think that you could have worked out and practiced any more than you possibly could have. And then you play your rival team and you lose.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to just learn how to deal with losing.
Yeah. And not getting what
You
you
know?
want. Failure,
Not
hurt.
getting what you want.
Yeah.
It's that failure and hurt when you think, how could you possibly have worked any harder, but then you lost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just one of those, like, you still have to stay positive even though you lost a really big game.
It's just cool. It's cool
Yeah.
to hear someone who's gone through so much not have given up on the world.
Yeah.
A lot of people do give up. I've had moments where I was like, oh, this is never going to get better.
Well, yeah, me too. That's why I'm in the psych
Yeah.
ward.
That's why I was in jail. I wasn't always good. But being on this side of stuff is cool. And like you using all this to like, I'm sure you have a lot of people that listen that it means a lot to. It means a lot to hear this stuff. And when I put this out, I guarantee you it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people.
Oh, I hope so. That's what I try to do.
For real.
Destigmatize all the things.
I agree. Do you want to call it?
I think we should call it.
All right. Michelle,
Michelle
do
Hammer.
you want to tell them your stuff?
Oh, Michelle Hammer. That's me, Michelle Hammer. I have a bipolar schizophrenic and a podcast. And Schizophrenic.Nyc. That is my website, my Instagram, and my TikTok.
All
Follow me
the
there.
links will be down below.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
I love you.
I love you too.